Okay, so let's have a quick look at this question from a Varese prebac from a couple of years ago. Now, this is what I'd call an absolute classic. I'm not sure I've ever seen a prebac or a bac which didn't have a question like this on it. There's a couple of different ways they can present the question, but basically something like this you're absolutely guaranteed to see. What do we have? We have a function f of x is equal to x cubed plus 3x squared, and we're asked to determine the equation of the tangent to the curve at x is equal to -1. Now, one of the more common ways, one way that you can see this come up is as a diagram where they will draw for you f of x and they will draw for you f prime of x. And then you've got to work out your details from there, right? But this is also a standard way of seeing it. Now, there is a formula, and if you want to be using the formula for it, knock yourselves out. Me, I prefer to kind of go about it step by step and in a logical fashion in a way that you can reproduce potentially in an exam. So what do we have? We've got, starting with the sort of what would I call it now? Look, f of x, it gives me points in space. Points in space, what does that mean? Points in space just means it locates this function, or it locates the drawing where it is in where it gets drawn, where I'll see it on the page in front of me. And f prime of x, right, which is the first derivative, that gives me the slope of tangent at any point. Okay, so what we're looking for here, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look to locate. We're going to be filling into y is equal to mx plus c in a while. Again, there is another formula. The y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. If that's the one you want to use, absolutely no bother at all. But I'm going to take you through how I would use this here. Now, what am I going to be looking for? I'm going to be looking for my slope, right? My slope of the tangent at the point that I've been given. I'm also going to be needing a y value, an x and y value, are location in space, an x and a y value there, and that's going to allow me to find my c. Okay, and once I have all of that, we'll throw it back in and we'll be fine. Let's see what that looks like. First up, right, in order to find my a value y and a value x, I'm going to go just straightforward get f of -1. -1 is my x value. Okay, so there it is, -1. I've already got there, and I'm finding out what else to put in there. So f of -1 would be -1. I'm going to put brackets around that and cube it, and then plus 3 times -1 squared. Now, I'd always fill it in rather than trying to do everything straight away in my head. It'll avoid me making stupid mistakes later. -1 cubed is -1 times -1, which would be 1, times -1, which would be back to -1 again, and plus 3 times -1 squared. That would be -1 squared would be 1 times 3, so that'd be just plus 3, giving me a 2. So I've got this point, -1, 2. F of -1 gives me the answer 2. Okay, we'll go back and we'll give me that in green. Okay, so I stuck in -1. There it is there, okay? And that gave me the answer 2, and there it is there. Okay, so we're back to now. This is my point. I'm just going to write in point here. I'm going to get rid of the rest. You obviously would leave it on your document. I'm just getting rid of it to keep things nice and tidy for me. Now I'm going to start working on my on my slope. So what do I need to do? I need to get the f prime of x to start with. That's going to be given for me straightforward one to differentiate here. That's 3x squared plus 6x. And I'm looking for the slope at a particular point. I'm looking to find the slope at x is equal to -1. Again, filling straight in here. 3 times -1 to be squared plus 6 times -1. Working on that, -1 squared is 1, so that would just give me 3, and it's plus 6 times -1, so that'd be -6, okay, and that's going to be equal to, so 3 minus 6 gives me -3, okay. I'm going to get my yellow highlighter for that one now, okay, because that is my slope. F prime of -1 is the same as my m. Okay, I should have written it here. M is equal to -3. And then we'll highlight that, because now we can just crack on and we can finish this question up altogether. As usual, I'm going to make myself a bit of space on the document so that I can see what I'm doing and so that everything is clear. Now, we've been told this is where my y is equal to mx plus c. What does that mean? It's the address line to everything that's going on a line, right? So what do I have? I've got a an x and a y, which will satisfy this. So my y is going to be 2. I'm taking that straight from my point over here. That's going to be equal to the slope, which we said was -3, times my x value, which was -1, and then plus c. Sticking that together, that's 2 is equal to 3 plus c. 2 is equal to 3 plus c. Should, of course, be put in therefore each time. Therefore, c is going to be equal to -1. Okay, now I have all of my details. Okay, I've got my c is equal to -1. I have my point, or no, sorry, I have my slope as well, my m. So then I just fill into my generic form, y is equal to mx plus c. So just to finish off this question, the last thing that I'm looking for is y is equal to the slope I found, which was -3, times any x value, plus my c, which is -1. And there you go. That is my final answer, stuck in there like that. I used the wrong color highlighter for my c, which is desperate. So I'm going to go back and change that. It's not really desperate. It's actually absolutely fine. But for the sake of clarity, I'm still going to fill it in like that now, so that you have it as you should have. Last thing I do in any question I answer is I go back to the question and I ensure that I've definitely answered the question. So I was asked to determine the equation of the tangent to the curve, okay? Is this an equation? Yes, it is. Is it the tangent to the curve at x equal to -1? Yes, it is. I'm very happy now, and I can call it a day, and I'd say thank you very much for coming and having a look at my little video. If you fancy sending it on to some friends to help them get their head around their maths 3 period further back, go on ahead, and sure, follow me. I'll make a few more of these, and we'll work on that between now and the back. In the meantime, goodbye for now. Thanks very much.